It's Josh again, talking to you about a recent project I did. The project was to stress test a database and to seed it with large amounts of data. This time, there were 10 million data points to be created and seeded, so that was a lot bigger number than the average project. So I set about trying to figure out how to go about it, and my first roadblock was simply creating 10 million data points. My first idea was to use Node's file system to append the lines of data to a file, and that got me some pretty good. It got me going. Not really close to my goal. I got a few thousand before my computer started to lose memory, so I realized that there was something I could do to optimize that. I could increase the number of open files on my computer, which was necessary to be able to create such a large file. So after that, I found out about the write stream method on Node.js's file system, and that allows you to write large streams of data and then seed them all into one file at the same time. So that was nice, and I started by using CSV formatted data, comma separated values, and that was mostly very fast, only about 4 minutes to create a data file of 10 million data points, and then only 2 minutes to seed it into Mongo. So that was only 6 minutes to create that, to create the data and to seed it, which was, I thought, quite fast. But I also wanted to try what would happen with JSON data. So JSON objects were a bit slower. Took about 5 minutes to create the 10 million JSON objects, and then 4 minutes to import them into Mongo. So a little bit slower, but a bit more robust because CSV cannot handle nested data structures. So the project code that I was working on happened to have a lot of nested arrays. So JSON data was really nice to use with that project. I also wanted to compare the difference between a NoSQL database and a SQL one, so I decided to choose Postgres to test the SQL database. And Postgres has a very robust copy method, which allows you to take all of the contents of one file and send it straight into a database. So, but in this case, it was a little bit different because I needed 30 million data points. My original data had to be refactored and restructured a little bit, so I made a new schema in Postgres. Instead of just 10 million data points in one table, or in one database, I needed 3 separate tables. So 30 million total. That took about 4 minutes and 20 seconds on average to create 30 million, and then about 6 minutes and 40 seconds to copy them all. This was in CSV data format, by the way. So I think the difference between importing the two was only a couple of minutes. So the time speed, I think, was more or less negligible. But I think it was nice to check out the difference between these two and to get familiar with importing such a large amount of data. So that's pretty good. Thanks.